So I'm doing this quick video, hopefully it won't be that long, of I wanted to show what I got in my Kickstarter. So last year I had helped fund the After the End Kickstarter, so I finally had gotten the box of what I funded. So I had gotten they had different tiers. One was just the ebooks. So if you just had the ebooks, you already got your package. The other tiers were like ebooks and paperbacks, ones that were hardcovers, and then they had all these other tiers that had went up in price. I had decided on just the paperback set, and you get the ebooks with the paperback set. Now, I already read one of the ebooks. I still need to read the other ones going forward. So it was created by Ali Hazelwood and I think Adriana Herrera, I think, were the ones that had funded it, or not funded it, had basically created it, and we, you know, a whole bunch of people funded it. So I had gotten this here, so we got that, and then on the back it says, "Thank you so much for backing After the End. AH2 began as a passion project rooted in our love for romance and our belief that there were readers out there just like us, who love a good romance and a beautiful book. We are beyond grateful for your support and cannot wait to bring you more romance collections in the future." So it says Ali and Adriana. I've read Ali Hazelwood. I don't particularly like her as an author, but, you know, I figured, you know, there's other books that are a part of this collection, and I will support those authors. So it looks like I got an envelope, black envelope, that has all the author signatures on it, it looks like. Yeah, so there's that signature. This one here I can read. It's Casey Wells. I don't know who the heck the other one was. I couldn't read her. I have no idea what that scribble is, who that author is. Nikki Payne, I think I can read that one. No idea. I'll have to guess and say, oh, okay, well, I think this one goes to this author, that goes to this one. I think that's Claire Kent's signature. And no idea what this one. Some people, it's just, it's gibberish, you know? So there's that I got. Okay, cool. So I'll put those in the books. And it looks like I got another envelope with some other extra things in it. I know they had posted all these other things on there of like, oh, you can get this, you can get that. And I'm like, I don't really give a shit. I don't care. I just ordered the books. That's all I wanted. So any extras, okay. So this one here says Feral for HEAs. So it looks like it's a pin that's got like a, you know, raccoon on it. So there's that. And then they gave us some tabs that we can tab in our books. So we got that one. And they gave me this one. So there's that. Cool. I will use them. So now let's lift up what's in here. So they gave us a nice box. Ugh, a nice box. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So we get a nice box. So, After the End, a dystopian romance collection. And if you're a person like me, I like, you know, when it comes to those survival romances and all that stuff. So now I gotta try to get it out of here. So it's supposed to come in a nice book set. But I will say, if there are books in here that I don't like, I will end up selling them. Because this one here, this tier costs, I think, 140 bucks. So if some of these don't live up to, you know, aren't very good, I will be selling them. And maybe get at least some of my money back. So I'm trying to open this one up right now. I got plastic wrapped on it. you can hear anything in the background. I have my window open. I had turned off the fan so that way I could film this. So they got it wrapped in plastic. So here's the set after the end. It's a nice box. That's pretty cool. It's a nice box. But like I said, if I don't like all the authors, I'm not going to keep all the books, you know? And Allie Hazelwood is one author where I just don't like her writing. I just don't think she's a good writer. I don't get the hype. So there's that. And the way these books are, there's one book on one side and then you flip it over. So, of course, the first one is like Allie Hazelwood. This is first. And then when you flip it, it gives you the next author. So, Bate, Adriana Herrera. I will say the art is really cool. I'm assuming this is like 2 dudes and 1 chick. I'm assuming. So there's that. It's really nice. I'll say, like, it's really nice. Like, the lettering is kind of like puffed out a little bit. So you got a little bit of that. That's really nice. Nice work on that. Sprayed edges are really nice. Oh, and they got artwork too. That's pretty cool. So you got some artwork in here. They're glossy, so they kind of reflect a little bit. So that's kind of cool. And then on this side, you got that kind of thing. Kind of reminds me, that one there kind of reminds me a bit like Mad Max, you know? That looks kind of like a bit of Mad Max. So there's that set right there. If I like this one, the Adriana Herrera, then obviously I'll keep the book, you know? Even if I don't like the Allie Hazelwood story. So this one's Skin, Nikki Payne. That's a pretty cover. And again, it's a gloss right there. That's really nice. So, and then when you flip it, you get Maya, M-A-Y-A, by Nina Saxena. I have no idea who that author is. Never heard of her. And so, well, that's cool. We got like a really dark looking, cool looking. And then that one. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I like the art. The art's really nice. The art is really well done. And then, of course, the sprayed edges. Really cool looking art. You know, the artists really did their job and stuff. So this is the one why I went and funded it. Is for this author alone. So Claire Kent Brood. I've read the book already. I read the ebook. Really liked the ebook. Thought it was good. So, and like I said, the sprayed edges. So we've got, obviously, the artwork for this one. Cool. Kind of helps me visualize a little bit better of, like, the area they were in. So that's pretty cool. And then the flip side is Taken by Elizabeth Stevens. So, obviously, I would keep this book just for Brood. Just for that. And then we got that. That's kind of cool. I like that art. That art is really cool. So that's really interesting. But yeah, that one there, that's why I funded it, for that author alone. So we got Trade. I'm assuming this is 2 guys. It might be 2 guys. So this might be a, you know, gay romance, I think. So Trade, Casey Wells. She's kind of hit or miss for me. And then Prima by Sherry Thomas. I have heard of Sherry Thomas. I have heard of her. The sprayed edges are really cool looking, you know? And so the artwork that's in there, I like that one. That one's really pretty. That one's really pretty. I like that one a lot. That one's really nice. And then for the Trade one, that one's really nice. That's really cool. So yeah, you get 8 stories, 4 books. I think it's kind of interesting the way you can kind of flip them, you know? So that's cool. I'll probably take pictures and post that on my Instagram so people can see them. But yeah, like I said, if there's like say if there's like this book where I'm like, I don't like either one of the stories, and there's no sense in me keeping the book. Then I will just take it and just put it on Pango Books and see if somebody wants to buy it. I'm sure there's going to be people out there, resellers, that are going to sell the whole set. I'm sure there's people who are going to maybe just sell one book, you know. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll decide to keep the set and go from there. I would say, like, if it ever comes down to where the authors, like, say, if I don't like any of the books and the only book that I really like is Brood, I think in time they're going to release the books, you know, outside of the Kickstarter. I would say that's only fair, because there's how many people who haven't been able to, they weren't able to get anything from the Kickstarter because they weren't able to afford it. So I would say, like, if you are a fan of the authors, then it's probably good just to wait until they decide to release their own novellas, and then it'd be cheaper, so that way you could support that particular author, you know, like if you don't like all the other authors, you know. So this one here, if Claire Kent does release Brood, and if I don't like any of the other books, I could just take this set that I have and resell it, you know. I know there's plenty of resellers out there, and I am not that close to like authors or anything like that where I would say, oh no, I'll never sell the set. No, I had the money, so I decided to go and back the Kickstarter. Like I said, for Claire Kent, because I really like her. All the other authors I didn't care about, you know. But I will read their stories, but, you know, I have the ebooks on my Kindle, so I'll end up reading the ebooks on my Kindle from there and go from there, you know. And if, you know, if I like any of the stories, I'll keep them. If not, I will just get rid of this. It's not a big deal to me, you know. So that's probably what I'll end up doing, is that I really wish, you know what I wish? If they wanted to keep them in a particular order in the set, it would have been nice if they would have numbered these, you know? If, say, you wanted to keep them in a particular way, to number them, you know? But I think it's a really nice set, though. It's really pretty. The design was done really well, you know? Whoever did the design is really nice, you know? But now I gotta figure out where which goes, like when it comes to like the author. Like when I look at these, it doesn't show anything of like where the author's signature will go. Like, who is this? I'm assuming it might be Sherry Thomas. Maybe it might be Sherry Thomas, because I believe Sherry Thomas is an Asian author. I believe so. So with that being there, I'm assuming, you know. But I think the artwork is really pretty. The artwork is done really well. The printing was done really well. It's a really nice book. They're really nice books for sure. And you got like all these little things inside there, you know, little artwork and stuff. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. I like that. So, I mean, it was done really well. And it got like over, like, I think it got over $1 million backer, you know, $1 million for backers and stuff like that. I believe this is Sherry Thomas. So I might just like leave that in there, like in the book. I don't think I'll tape it in there, but I think I might just leave it in the book. And again, let me see if I can look at some of these names and if it matches the picture. You know, like this one here, you definitely can tell it's Kate C. Wells, but there isn't anything on here that I could tell that'd be like, oh, this goes to this author, you know? I can't really tell. It's kind of weird. So that's kind of weird. I wish that was done a little bit differently, so that way you'd be like, oh, well, this is this author, that's that author, you know? And the box was done really well. Like, it doesn't feel like cheap to me, you know? Like, when you look at it, it doesn't feel cheap. Like, it has some it got like a good construction to it. So, I mean, it's not something cheap that you get off of Amazon, you know. It looks like it was done really well, you know, with like the artwork, and then like, you know, like I said, it's got a little give right here when you press on it, but it seems like it was done, you know, done well, you know. It's got some heft to it, so that's good, like if you are a collector. I believe Nina Saxena, I believe that's her. I think this is, because based on the red, and it's got kind of like a reddish. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would want to go and paste their thing in there, you know, like I'm sure this thing has a sticky on the back. I don't want to do that. Just in case I actually want to sell this, I would just give it like that. Just put it right in the book. Makes it better. These other ones, I have no idea. Okay, this one here. She's got a nice, I can tell. But I will say, it didn't look like, it looks like a stamp. Some of the authors, like it looks like a stamp and not an actual autograph, which is kind of disappointing when authors do that. You know, they don't give you their actual autograph, they give you the stamp, you know? So that's kind of disappointing. I'll just say that. But, you know, if an author is signing a lot of stuff, I can understand why they would not give you their signature, because their hands can cramp up, you know? So I get it. I understand it. So I'm trying to just put all the stuff in here. I believe, I want to say this could be Elizabeth Stevens' signature, just based on the E. So yeah, I'm putting all the stuff in there, so that way all the little signatures are in there. I have no idea. I'm assuming this is Adriana Herrera. For that one, it looks like an A. And then this one here, is that Ayla Hazelwood's signature? Okay. I'm sure people were like, what's wrong with you? But I'm like, I just don't like Allie Hazelwood. I don't get the hype, you know? I don't understand why she's so popular. I really don't, you know? Anywho, I think it's a really nice set. They did a really beautiful job. You know, when it comes to the sprayed edges are really pretty, you know? But I'm trying to see, like, was it put in a certain way to make it look like it was done? Like, you know, when it comes to sprayed edges, sometimes they'll have a collection and it looks like a huge big thing, you know? But I can't tell. I cannot tell, you know, if it actually is supposed to be, if it's supposed to flow in a certain way. I don't think so. But anyways, so there's that. I think it was done really well. I don't know if I would say it was worth $140, but, you know, there's that. So the next thing that they're doing is they're doing a historical romance in May. There's a historical romance one that's coming out, and I want to back that one and see how that one goes, because you have authors like Beverly Jenkins. Her Indigo book is going to be there, and I'm really hoping that the covers are really pretty, because I have tried accessing the Beverly Jenkins Indigo mass market paperback, and resellers want to rip your ass off for the fucking cover. So I don't want to pay $200 or $300 for a mass market paperback that is a used copy. So I have the paperback version that she released. I believe she released, and you could actually buy it off of Amazon if you want to do that. And the other author that's going to be there is Lisa Kleypas. Her Dreaming of You, if anybody's a fan of Derek Craven, there's going to be that special edition cover. And Loretta Chase, Lord of Scoundrels, which I love that book. And I need to read other books from the author. So there's going to be at least those 3 that I know that I will definitely back that Kickstarter, because I love those books and I love those authors. So I will definitely do that, back that one, and go from there. It will be nice to go and have those special edition ones, especially because, like I said, trying to find like mass market, the original like first edition copies are harder to find, and if you do find them, people want to rip you off for them. So I'm like, I'd rather go and get a new book, brand new, special edition, that I backed from a Kickstarter. I'd rather do that, you know? So that's pretty much it for this one here. I'm glad that this finally came in the mail, and I could see like all of the hard work that they did, all the things that they did to go and make this, you know, the way it is and everything. The only thing I don't know, because I have to go and read the stories, I have to read the rest of the stories, but they have these little symbols right here. I don't know if it has to do with any of the stories. I'm assuming that might be the case for them. You know, as you can see these symbols. I read the one story, and I don't know if the Claire Kent one, if there's any of the symbols on here that represents anything. I don't know. Anywho, it's nice to finally get it in the mail and take a look at this and see. Like I said, it's very, very nice construction. Very nicely done. The sprayed edges are really pretty. The artwork is really nice, you know. All of that stuff is really well done there. And yeah, I mean, I will definitely back the next one. That is the, like I said, it's going to be the historical romance one. I definitely want to back that one. And I didn't want to go and get like any of the other stuff, because they had all these other things that you can get with it. And I was like, no, I mean, I can't afford that, you know. And 2, I just was like, I don't care. I don't care about having like a book bag or whatever it was. It was like some kind of bag you could get. And then you could also purchase like extra little things. And I was just like, look, I am not made of money here, you know. So I really did only want the ebooks and just the paperbacks. You know, I'm sure the hardcovers are really pretty, but unless they're printed on, I hate dust jackets. I absolutely hate dust jackets. They rip, they get ruined. I wasn't about to do that. So I think it's better just to have the paperback versions, because then, you know, the covers are already printed onto the book. You don't have to remove anything, you know. So yeah, that's what I figured I would do. It's always interesting to have little extra things, you know, that go with it. That's always cool too. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show like the things that I ended up getting, you know, what I backed. And like I said, this one here, I believe had cost me like $140, something like that. And then they were like, oh, you know, we're going to add this to your thing and add that to your thing. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But you know, it's interesting to have for sure. And I will look forward to when May comes and they decide to like release, you know, the Kickstarter for that one. And I could see, you know, everything that goes from that. I'm sure they'll probably say like, oh, here's some covers we're doing and all that stuff. That's always cool. But yeah, that's it for this one here. Let me know down below, would you pay for this set yourself, or would you be, you know, the type of person where you're like, nah, I'll just wait until, you know, they come out with like, they'll eventually release, you know, these, you know, novellas, you know, they'll eventually release them? Are you the type of person where you're like, nah, I'll just wait until they eventually release them? Let me know down below about that stuff. But yeah, that's it for this video here. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I'll see you all on the next video. All right, bye.